discussing drainage patterns. The first drainage pattern is the Dendritic Pattern. This is the most common pattern, and from above it looks like the branches of a tree. It is not dependent on the topography or geology of the surrounding areas, and the underlying rock has a uniform resistance to erosion. Remember, uniform resistance to erosion means that the rocks erode at the same pace. It develops on a horizontal sedimentary rock or a massive igneous rock. The tributaries join at acute angles. The next pattern is the Trellis Pattern. It is characterized by short tributaries joining the main stream at right angles. It is dependent on the topography and geology of the surrounding areas. It forms on alternating layers of hard and soft rocks. It is found where there are folded sedimentary rocks, for example in the Western Cape. Parallel valleys and mountains are formed from this pattern. The next one is the rectangular pattern. Now, some people get confused between the rectangular and the trellis pattern, but the main difference is in the rectangular pattern, the main river has 90-degree bends, whereas in the trellis pattern, the main river is straight and only the tributaries join it at 90-degree angles. But in the rectangular pattern, the main river has 90-degree turns and the tributaries join at 90 degrees. It is determined by the geology of the surrounding areas. It forms in the joint and faults of well-jointed igneous rock, for example granite, and it is found on the horizontal layers of sedimentary rock. The next drainage pattern is the radial or centrifugal pattern. It is dependent on the topography of the surrounding areas, and from above it looks like the spokes of a wheel. The streams flow from a high central point, for example the top of a volcano, down the sides of a volcano. In South Africa, they are mostly found on buttes or mesas. Now remember, in this picture, the triangle just represents a trig beacon. It just shows the highest point of land in the surrounding areas. Now the next three patterns are not that important for your matric geography, but you do have to know them. So the Centripetal Pattern, it is very uncommon and it depends on the topography of the surrounding areas. The streams flow into a low central area. The system is not connected to the sea and are often found in arid areas. The Deranged Pattern. It is not dependent on the topography or the geology. It is found in areas with glacial erosion. The surface has been scoured flat by glaciers and the glaciers have left debris behind. It is characterized by small streams, irregular routes, swampy depressions, and many small lakes. A good example of this pattern is if you go onto Google Maps and you zoom into Canada just above the North American border, you'll be able to see this extremely well there. And just out of interest, South Africa does actually have some glacier scars in Noordgedacht near Kimberley. This occurred when we were all still part of the Pangaea continent. The last drainage pattern is the parallel pattern. The main rivers and tributaries flow down the slope almost parallel to each other. This is formed on a steep, uniform to erosion slope, and the river is normally fast flowing.